Hey everybody, we are taking a look at the beginning of the digestive tract. So we're going to start in the oral cavity. That's just a fancy word for mouth. You can see in this mid-sagittal cut, here is our oral cavity. You can see the tongue here, and the teeth and the lips. In this more three-dimensional view of a person, there's the oral cavity with some teeth and the tongue and so on. So going into the oral cavity, we've got, we're transitioning from the outside, from the skin. The skin is keratinized stratified squamous. The inside, the lining of our tract, of any tract, is a mucous membrane. It's mucosa. So this is, the oral mucosa, the epithelium, non-keratinized stratified squamous that's lining it and protecting it. And that continues through the esophagus, which we'll get to later. The bone that reinforces the roof of the mouth, that's known as hard palate. The bone that's more anterior and taking up most of the mouth on the superior part, that's the maxilla. The small one back here, that's the palatine. So both the maxillae and palatine bones make up the hard palate, the roof of your mouth. And if you feel the roof of your mouth, you'll feel that it's ridged. Those are called plicae. Plicae is just another term for ridges. And that helps you break down food as you push your tongue up to break up food. Your tongue, very muscular, skeletal muscle. Your tongue controlled by the hypoglossal nerve, the skeletal muscle, all the fibers going in all different directions. So when you look at it with a microscope, which will be in another video, you'll see that the fibers are in no particular order. Some are going this way, some are going this way, some are coming out at you. And of course, our tongue is made for taste. And we saw in another video how there are taste buds with gustatory cells within those taste buds and contained within the lingual papillae to help get that taste there, get the taste molecules that you taste onto your tongue to the taste pores. So yeah, your tongue is important for mashing food around and for tasting. The hard palate, that's bone. The soft palate, that's back here. So this is soft because there's no bone here. And the thing that hangs back here, you can see the back of your throat, that's the uvula. And so when you swallow food, you want to have the uvula cover up the area to the nasopharynx. So the uvula helps you not, have food go up your nose. But of course that can happen sometimes if someone makes you laugh while you're drinking milk or something. The teeth, of course, are there to help mash up food. Teeth are made of similar material to bone. They're basically an extension of bone, but they are a bit different. One thing that you can see is that they're coming from the maxilla or from the mandible. The mandible is the lower jaw. And when they grow in, so this would be a younger child's skull, you can see that the teeth kind of push up and out. So new teeth are deeper in, and you can see the long root of this tooth. This tooth will eventually get pushed out. You can see that up here too. We're not going to go over the names of every single tooth, but I want you to know about teeth in general. So these two models are both showing teeth. One's bigger, one's smaller. One's showing, and they each show different detail. But when we look at a tooth, we can divide it up based on depth. So one way we can divide it up is based on depth. So let's take a look at this tooth. We can pretend that this is the gum line. The term for gum is gingiva. So if you have gingivitis, that's a gum infection. And so floss and brush your teeth. You don't want to get an infection. Not good for you for many reasons. Right, so the part that's exposed, that's called the crown. The part that's exposed, so in this vertical direction, the part that's exposed is the crown. This part here, that's like at the gum line, so it's a narrow region at the gum line, that's the neck. The narrow region of the gum line is the neck. What goes deep and rooted into the bone, that's the root. So we have crown, neck, root. That's in the vertical direction. Now if we're talking about layers, this white part here, this is the enamel. Very tough, very protective, but it can erode with acid, which is why dentists recommend that you limit acid, how much acid you eat, and if you do, to neutralize it. This is enamel. If this erodes, then that's how you get a cavity, and I'll explain cavities in a minute. So that's your enamel. Dentine is this next layer, shown here in pink. On this model, you can see the enamel. Dentine is here in white on this model. Dentine is just like bone. It's calcium phosphate, but there are no cells here. There are no cells. There are no osteocytes or osteoblasts in dentine. So it's just a very hard calcified matrix. This inner portion, shown here with the blood vessels, this is where blood vessels would be. This inner portion, that's the pulp cavity. It's pulpous because it's got a bunch of blood vessels and it has nerves. So if you do have a, this is called the pulp cavity. What you don't want is a hole going from the enamel down to the pulp cavity. That is when you go to the dentist, what they call a cavity. And if you have a cavity in your tooth, that means you're getting a hole from the surface of your tooth down to the pulp cavity, which means now the nerves here are exposed, which is why cavities can hurt a lot. But what's normal is you have your enamel and dentine intact and protecting what's deep in here. This is the living part of the tooth because you have blood vessels and nerves supplying the tooth. And if you have a toothache, then something's going on here. Of course, the blood vessels and nerves have to go in and out. So this region over here, going down, that is called your root canal. This is a pulp cavity. This is the root. So this is the root canal. If you've ever had a root canal, they're cleaning out any infection that might be going on over there. In addition to teeth, one other important thing that we have in our oral cavity, or surrounding our oral cavity, more accurately, are our salivary glands. We have 3 different salivary glands. The largest is the parotid salivary gland. We also have one underneath the mandible, so it's called the submandibular or submaxillary. They're both the same thing. I like mandible because here's the mandible, it's below it. Submandibular, right here, parotid, and then the other one is under the tongue, so this is with a piece of the mandible missing. The tongue's right here, so here is the sublingual salivary gland. Why do we need 3 salivary glands? Well, more saliva is useful for keeping your mouth moist and chewing food and doing all kinds of things in that respect, but they produce slightly different things. The cells that make up the parotid salivary gland, those cells are mostly serous cells. Serous cells produce a more liquidy saliva. The parotid gland produces mostly serous fluid by serous cells, which appear darker under the microscope. Parotid serous cells appear darker under the microscope. Serous cells look darker. This is a merocrine secretion. It's very watery. What's the advantage of wateriness? Well, besides moisturizing, it contains lots of digestive enzymes. We digest things like starch in our mouth. The process of chemical digestion, not just mechanical, the process of chemical digestion starts in your mouth, in your oral cavity, thanks to your salivary glands. So parotid has mostly serous cells, the darker staining cells. Sublingual has mostly mucus cells. Mucus cells appear lighter under the microscope, just like goblet cells. They also produce mucus, but goblet cells are individual. Mucus cells are clustered together. We'll see that in histology. The sublingual salivary gland secretes mucus from mucus cells, and we need that thicker mucus to help lubricate food as we eat it and chew it, because we're going to be swallowing it down our throat and we don't want it to be sharp. The mucus also helps trap particles that we might not want, so that way we can either spit it out or start to digest it once we get to our stomach where we have lots of acids. So the mucus cells, which are predominantly found in the sublingual gland, that helps with lubrication. Submandibular has a decent mix of both serous and mucus cells. Parotid, mostly serous. Sublingual, mostly mucus. Submandibular, a mix of both. All right, those are all the important features that I would like you to know regarding to the oral cavity and salivary glands and teeth. We'll continue the digestive system in another video. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. Take care.